There are some pre-defined SIP profiles. So the one that you see here, standard SIP profile for Cisco VCS, is the same that is for Expressway. So we can use this standard SIP profile, just change the name here to, let's just say, new standard SIP profile for Cisco Expressway. Here, let's do some verification or setting some time. Let's keep it as is default. It's fine. Script we don't need trunk specific configuration. In trunk specific configuration, we need to select here one thing. We need to enable early offer support for voice and video calls. This is disabled by default. There are options like mandatory or best effort. So best effort is with no media transport inserted, and mandatory is with the media transport. But this sometimes create problems with the video as it breaks videos. It's not recommended even you have video networks, but here for our lab, we have to do it as because of the Yit client we are using. So just this, save. Check other options. Options ping is the default setting here in the zip trunk. Apply config. Okay, it's ready. It's always recommended to reset zip profiles, zip trunks when you configure them. Okay. Next, we will create a zip trunk security profile. So zip profile is created as new standard zip profile for Expressway. Next, go to device. Let's just verify this first. Device settings, zip profile, and find wasn't rooted. Do this, copy, new, Cisco. Just interest trunk specific configuration. Change early offer support to mandatory for voice and video so that our testing will be configured. Save it. Okay, so instead of making the changes to the default one, now I have just created a copy and then saved it. Successful. Just reset it. Okay, no problem. We will now create a SIP trunk security profile. Let's just specify this. Little lag. Okay, now we can see the new standard SIP profile for Expressway. It's been created. Now, next, for creating the SIP trunk security profile, we have to go to System. And in System, we need to go to Security. That is the challenge sometimes, as it is at the bottom. Right. Security. And in the security, we have to use, just minimize the screen for a moment. System, security, SIP trunk security profile. All right, now we need to create a SIP trunk security profile. Again, we choose a predefined one. We have a non-secure SIP trunk profile. We'll copy this. We'll create a non-secure SIP trunk security profile. Let's just change the name to export. Non-secure SIP trunk security profile. Here we have to enable a few things, like we have to enable messages types to be exchanged. Like we need to have accept unsolicited notification and replaces header. Now, what are these for? These are some messages type exchanged between the expressway and the CUCM. So we will allow unsolicited inbound invites from expressway with the first one in unsolicited notification, and replace headers will allow standard dialogues or messages exchanged between the two systems, expressway and CUCM. So these needs to be checked. And okay, one more thing here. What we are doing here is, as an incoming port 5060 default, we are using 5070. This is a port number which we use additionally if you are using it for MRA. This integration not only restricted to Expressway-C, but when you're also using MRA and you're going to send calls up to Expressway-E and outside of the network. So in that case, we have to use the SIP port 5070. So let's change that here. So good. Next, we'll create a trunk. So we have created SIP profile. We have created SIP trunk security profile. Now we need to create a trunk. That is a SIP trunk, which will point to Expressway. So for that, we will go to device trunk. We have a few trunks configured, but we have to create a new one here. Type will be SIP trunk. Okay, let's name it trunk underscore to Expressway. Description not required. Device pool. In our lab, we have headquarter device pool being used, so we'll use that. So it can be as per your network. Location is fine. We can check the other settings if we need to change anything. Let's check inbound call settings. In inbound call settings, we need to select the CSS. So calling search space. Let's use here our lab is gateway headquarter CSS. So accordingly, whatever CSS you want to apply there for more calling privileges to be applied, you can use CSS there and accordingly apply it. Then calling party settings, fine. Coming calling party, calls party. We need to enter the destination now. Okay, here. So in SIP information, you see destination. This destination address will be the expressway. So IP address of expressway needs to be defined here, 10.1.5.21. This is our expressway C IP. If it is an IPv6 address, you can define here. Below this, we have to select SIP profile that we have created. So we have new standard SIP profile for expressway and SIP trunk security profile, which is expressway non-secure SIP trunk security profile. I believe everything else is fine. And we can save. Okay, one additional thing I would like to just verify here is if we want to dial both by URI as well as the DN, then we have to make this setting um, which is for calling and connected party information format, which is by default delivered DN only. So change that to deliver URI and DN in connected party if available. So with this, you will be able to allow both the URI dialing and the number dialing. So this is done at the time of the trunk creation, so that the both endpoints registered on the two systems can communicate using both DNs as well as the URI. Save this. Done. Let's reset. Yeah, reset is successful. Now let's just verify this trunk status. It will take some time to update. First, it shows unknown status. Let's just see trunk. Trunk to expressway. Right now, you see in the SIP trunk status as unknown options being not available. So it will be activated. We have to configure some other configurations till then. So let's do that and then we'll come back and verify it. So it should be here as active. First create the next part. So once we have created SIP profile, SIP trunk security profile, and trunk, and we have associated the SIP profile and the SIP trunk security profile and the necessary configuration like for inbound calls and outbound calls, and we have associated all these configurations with the trunk, it should be active here. So from the CUCM side, it should be shown as active in full service here. The status should be full service as shown here. So we will wait for it to update. And till then, let's configure the last part of the CUCM, which is creating a dial plan. So for that, we need to create the dial plan here, and that will be pointing to the expressway. So for that, under call routing, we will go to route hunt. First, what we will create is we will create a route group. Then we'll create a route list, and then we will create a route pattern. So go ahead and go to route group. And in this route group, we need to have this trunk we have configured. So we will add new route group name. Let's use expressways underscore route group. And in that, in the available devices, you will have to select the trunk. The last one we can see trunk to expressway. This is the one. Need to associate with this route group, add to route group. It should come to the selected devices here and save it. Okay, so route group is created. we have allocated the trunk and associate that trunk with the route group. Next, we have to put this route group to a route list. So we need to create a route list. This is a process of dial plan in CUCM. So here we'll create a new route list. Let's name it Expressway underscore route. CUCM group needs to be selected here. Save. Our route list is configured. Some settings here we need to do is we need to scroll down here, and we have to add this route group that we have just created, expressway route group, to this route list. So add route group and select the route group expressway. This is the one. Mm, all right. These part from call routing are done. We have configured the route group. We have configured a route list. We have associated the route group with the trunk, and we have associated that route group with a route list. Next, finally, we have to create a route pattern that will point to the route list. So set this and it's done. Close. Now we go to call routing, route hunt, and route pattern. Add new. The route pattern would be 100X. Any number starting with 100X. These are the numbers we have on the endpoints uh, as the on the destination. So these are the numbers we are using. So these are the numbers we have predefined in this lab for the clients or the endpoints on the expressway. So we are creating a pattern like this. So accordingly for your lab, if you have any other DN format, any other patterns, so you'll have to use that. What else here? Pattern is created. Let's select the gateway route list here. Route list will be expressway route list. And that's it. Leave it. Okay. Now, with this route pattern, it will only allow the numeric calling. If you need URI calling, then you need to have a URI SIP pattern. So for that, we need to create SIP route pattern also. What's this here? This one. Mm, Okay, so as we have this route pattern created successfully, and we have a route pattern of a numeric 100X, and last digit can be any number here. Let's just enable one more route pattern for URI. So for that, we have to go to route pattern and okay, instead we'll create a SIP route pattern. Add a new SIP route pattern. This will be for the URIs. In the IPv4 pattern, we will be using the URI format we want. So our URI format, let me see in this lab. Okay, so let's put the domain is cll-collab.internet. This is our IPv4 pattern as a domain name. We'll scroll down and apply the route list on this as well, same way like we did in the numeric route pattern. SIP trunk route list. Which will then point to this route list. Okay, that's it. This is the configuration on CUCM that is required. So we have completed that. We have configured the SIP profile, SIP trunk security profile, SIP trunk. Then we have configured call routing, in which we have configured a route group, in which we have added the trunk. Then we have configured the route list, with which we have associated the route group. Then we created route patterns, 2 route patterns we have created, one for numeric dialing and other is the SIP route pattern for URI dialing. This is done. Now let's verify the trunk again, which was not up at that time. Let's see. Yeah, it's up now. We can see full service. So that means our CUCM side is completed. Now next we will configure the expressway. So for expressway, let's log in 10.1.5.21. This is our expressway. All right. In the expressway, what we need to do is we need to create zone, which is just very similar to the SIP trunk we create on CUCM. So that zone will be now pointing to the CUCM. Okay, we are in the expressway now to configure the zone. So now we will see how we can configure zones also. So some zones we did earlier. Now we are creating a zone. Why? Because we need to create a neighbor zone, which is pointing to the CUCM. So same way we configure it for any other expressway or any part of the network. It is Expressway-C to Expressway-C or Expressway-C to CUCM. So here we are creating a neighbor zone to CUCM. So under configuration, zones, zones. Let's give it a name. Mm, let's just give it the same type of name, trunk underscore to CUCM. And the type will be neighbor. So we'll have to select neighbor. Yeah, hop count is fine. H.323 mode should be off here. We want it to be SIP. So SIP should be enabled. You can see if you want a transport TLS, you can enable transport TLS, otherwise not required. So here we have selected the trunk type as neighbor, and H.23 is off. It's good. SIP is on. Transport, let's use TCP instead of TLS here. We are using TCP. And port number, we are changing to some other port, so which we use 5070 for MRA on CUCM. So same port we have to use here. If you remember, this is the port number we have used in the SIP trunk security profile on the CUCM to allow the MRA configuration also. So the same port should be configured here as well. Let's see the settings. Yeah, under location, we need to have a peer address, which is our CUCM. So we put .5, which is our CUCM IP. In CUCM, we have given the destination of expressway. In expressway, we are pointing this zone to CUCM with this IP. And scroll down, let's just see. Advanced zone profile. Let's use it to be CUCM. Zone profile will be CUCM type. Create zone. Now, as we could see on the CUCM, it was active here. This should be active as well. This doesn't take too long. S223 is off and 6 is active, which is good. Now we have a trunk to CUCM, which is a neighbor zone here on the expressway. Now, next thing we need is a search rule. So we can go directly from here, as it says no search rule is there, and we can create a search rule from here. So it means the expressway end of the trunk, which is a zone, is successful as we see the active status there. Now we need the search rule, which will then point to the CUCM. So from this page, we are now on the search rule page. We can create new. Let's name it 1100X2. I'll tell you why. CUCM. So in this case, I'm using this number to CUCM because these are the number pattern DNs on the CUCM endpoints. Starts with 11001, 11002, so on. Is it description not required? Priority. Let's change the priority 60. Protocol any is fine. Source any is okay. Mode any alias. No, let's change this to alias pattern match. And we'll use some regular expression. Okay, let's just create some regular expression here that will allow numbers 1100 dot. In regular expression, this is like just the wildcard here, so any number at the end. Then at the rate, let's suppose anything, any domain. So for that, I'll use a dot asterisk, so that will have any host portion. So this just means that any 5-digit number starting with 1100, the first 4 digits, and then any digit at the fifth place, and then any host portion. We want to, let's suppose, replace that, keeping the first group and changing it with any domain if comes in. So I think someone asked this question yesterday also. So how we can change it to our domain. So that is how we can do it. So CLL-collab dot internal. This is our domain. So we want to change any request coming from any domain, but the first portion or the user portion should be anything starting from 1100 and then any digit. So we want to keep that as same and then replace the last portion, the domain. On successful match, we want to stop once it has found the match. Then target zone, this is important. Here you have to select the zone you have just created, trunk to CUCM. Should be enabled and create search rule. So one search rule we have created. So like on the CUCM, we had created 2 route patterns, one for numeric dialing, other for URI dialing, the SIP route pattern. Similarly, here also in search rules, we need to create 2 search rules. This one we have created for the numbers as per this number format dialing, with the starting with this number in the user portion. Now let's create it for the second one for URI. Rule name URI to UCM. Priority, let's just change it to 61. Alias pattern match. Use regex. Let's use suffix here. So based on suffix, based on the domain here, we want to use the domain suffix CLL-collab dot internal. And if any request comes from these URIs, allow it. So leave and stop match. Once match found, target again will be trunk to CUCM and create rule. It's just our configuration. So we have 2 search rules. One is 1100X to CUCM. Second is URI to CUCM. to recall any spine authentication not required here. Mode is alias pattern match. In the first one, we are using regex 1100 dot at the rate any domain and replace that with the domain CLL-collab configured. And in this one, we have a suffix of collab dot terminal. Yeah, this looks fine and the status is enabled. Now we have the search rules in place as well. So now we can check both the configuration on Expressway as well as the CUCM. So on CUCM, we have to just make sure that our trunk is in full service, and in Expressway, check zones. And our zone is active.